Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Couple of disclaimers to get out of the way real quick before I get started. One, you may hear my air conditioner click on and off during this video. It is hot. I am not going to turn it completely off. I absolutely must have the air circulating. Two, there is a very high likelihood that you will not only hear but possibly also see kittens while I'm in the process of recording this. The kittens that I mentioned in last month's Ipsy unboxing, three of them have learned how to climb, and they are super affectionate and kind of loud. So they may get up here in my lap at some point. And three, there's also the possibility of hearing other noises from outside of my recording space where the kids are at and the other animals, specifically the puppy dogs. So, yeah. And speaking of kittens, this is one of them. This is Oddball. It's my baby. Try to put her down real quick. I think it's a her. I'm not sure. Put it down, although they'll probably get back up here. One other disclaimer is that you will probably notice that I do not have my ring light on. I'm not feeling my best. I've got a little bit of a headache, and yeah, I just could not deal with the additional light. I am recording next to a window though, so I've got plenty of natural light coming in, so we'll go with that. Now, on to the actual video. We are, of course, opening up this month's Ipsy. Okay, so let's go ahead and rip into that. And of course, like always, I have pre-checked this just to make sure everything was there, nothing was broken, just because I don't want to have any oopsies happen while I'm recording. So, this is this month's bag. I absolutely love this bag. I love the fact that Ipsy does what it can to honor Pride Month. Happy Pride, y'all. The lips over here are raised, which is really, really cool. And also floating around loose inside the bag is an SL Miss Glam brush. This is the Tapered Glam 5, so I will probably use it when I get ready to do my highlighter today. Got a couple of little turquoise-y colored gems up here on the handle, and then red and turquoise, or up here. And then it's got the red and turquoise gems throughout the handle, and then pink tip, orange for the brush itself. It's very pretty, very soft. I love the SL Miss Glam brushes. They are absolutely beautiful. So yeah, we will definitely be using this brush. Okay, let me set that out of the way. And then into the bag itself. So let's reach in here and see what we pull out. Okay, so the first thing I'm pulling out of the bag, which is the second product, is the FAB, First Aid Beauty, Pharma, Arnica Rescue and Relief and Rescue Mask. So there's that. It's just a little sample size of it. Now, my experience with a lot of First Aid Beauty products is that they smell not exactly pleasant. This one does not have the signature smell that I personally associate with most First Aid Beauty products. It's got kind of a very light blue color to the mask itself. I'm not going to sample that though because it is a mask, but presuming it's a mud mask type of mask. Yeah, it says apply to clean dry skin, allow to absorb and tissue off any extra. Okay, so this is more of like a sleeping mask type mask. So there is that. Next up, oh, we have a bubble wrap. Okay. So this is the YC collection. Does not say which specific little mini palette it is, but let's see. It's got some beautiful colors in it. According to the back, the shades are Sun over here, El Alba, Earth, and Peach. Let's get some swatches of these real quick. Okay, so there is Sun, El Alba, Earth, and Peach. Peach barely shows up on me. It's a very, very good neutral. I think this shade right here will be really good for the look that I was planning for today, which is going to be a lesbian pride flag. If you follow me on Instagram, I will leave the link to that down in the description. You will see that I have been doing various pride flags for the month of June. I did the same thing last year. I have several videos up from last year where I did different pride flags. Our next product is from Lottie London. It's Slay All Day in the shade So Good. It's a little liquid lip, I think. Let me see if I can get this plastic off of here. The plastic on these things is always really difficult to get underneath. There we go. That came off not too bad. Advantages of having fingernails, at least on one hand. Of course, it is just a little sample size. Nice doe foot applicator. Take some of the excess off of there so we can get just a little bit of swatch. I'm going to swatch this over here underneath that so that I can keep the top of my hand. Oh, I like that. It's very pretty. Keep the top of my hand swatch free so that I have a place where I tend to put my foundation and concealer. Kitty cat just knocked the empty ipsy bag down. Set that off to the side. Okay, and the very last product in here is the Pretty Vulgar Undercover Concealer in the shade 61. And it's just a little tiny sample tube of that. I've not checked to make sure the shade actually matches, so I get to do that now and hope it does. Go ahead and oh, that looks like it's gonna be way too dark for me. We'll give it a try. If it does not match well enough for my comfort zone, I will pass it on to my mom. She's a little bit darker than I am. But since I've got it already, I'm going to go ahead and just dab that into my under eye area, which is the area I exclusively conceal. And just dab that on with my fingers. Okay. Once I get it worked in, it's not so bad. Hopefully it'll do better once I get my foundation on, of course. It's a little dark for what I'm comfortable with, but not dark enough that I could consider using it as a contour shade either. So I may end up passing this on to my mom. We'll just have to see how it looks when I get my foundation on, which I'm going to go do real quick. Oop, before I do that, let me go ahead and read through some of the product pricing and stuff. Okay, so the First Aid Beauty mask, full size price is $32. The full size price for the Lottie London liquid lip is $6.49, so $6.50. That's not so bad. Full size for the Pretty Vulgar Undercover Concealer is $24. The SL Miss Glam brush is $18.50, and this is a full size because they can't exactly send sample sizes of a brush. And it is the only marked as full-size product in the bag this month. And then the YC Collection Eyeshadow Quad in Sun, El Alba, Earth, and Peach, full size, is $24.99. Now, I typically consider these little quads to basically be full size. It says full size is 0.3 ounces of product. It doesn't say exactly how much is in here. But I tend to consider these essentially full size because I'm going to get the amount of use out of it that I would a full size. So I don't mind getting the little quads. I actually really like the little quads because they're essentially a full eye look all in one place. And really easy to grab on the go and stuff. So that's my pricing. So I'm going to jump off just for a second and get my foundation on, and then I will be back to do an eye look for y'all, and then put on some of that liquid lip, and we will be done for the day. So give me just a minute and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got my foundation on, and while I was away, I went ahead and threw on just a little bit of blush and bronzer. My foundation, of course, is the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made in the shade L30. That is my go-to foundation. And then for my blush and bronzer, I used the Pacifica Bronze Rose. You can tell this is my favorite bronzer. I've hit pan. I love this bronzer. I don't use the blush as much, but occasionally I do. I do like the shade of it. It's just a little shimmerier than what I typically reach for from a blush. So since I do plan on doing the Lesbian Pride flag today, in addition to the YC Collection palette, I will also be using my Proud palette from Jolie Beauty to round out the look. The Lesbian Pride flag is specifically a branch of the LGBT community for women who are primarily attracted to women. I personally do not fall into that specific category of the LGBT. I am bisexual, although potentially technically pan, but the difference between the two is that with pansexual, gender does not matter at all. My brushes are horribly dirty, but I haven't really been cleaning them because I've been doing various rainbow looks, so I've been reserving specific brushes for specific colors, and that's how I've been doing it. Sorry about that. I needed to put my brush cup out of the way. So from the Proud palette, I will be using Bowie, Freddie, and Steven, as well as Kelly and maybe Elton. I think those will be the shades I will need from there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is go into Steven with the Laurice LR007 tapered blending brush. We're just going to put that right up under the brow. And I may be doing this backwards. It may be that it fades from orange into red, but I'm going to do it fading from pink down into orange. We're just going to do right under the brow with this one. And no, I don't usually start with my brows, but I feel like that just feels better for this. Next, we're going to go into a little bit of Freddie, and we're going to take that right into the outer corner of that brow. Just kind of blend that into the other shade of pink we've got there. Freddie's a little bit brighter pink. Either that or this brush is dirty. Possibly both. And you can see I've just kind of brought the outer corner of the brow shade out quite a bit. Okay, so next we're going to go, and I did that with a Farrah mini, it's 65 EM mini shading brush. Next, I'm going to go in with a SL Miss Glam short shader. Almost every brush I'm using here has come out of Ipsy at various points. So next we're going to go into Bowie. And with Bowie, we're going to bring that right across underneath the brow bone, but above the crease, and into the outer corner. There we go, with that right there. Like I said, under the brow bone, but above the crease. And I go above the crease for shades because and I'm going to bring this down to the crease, actually, but not below it, just to the crease. And like I said, bring that out at the outer corner. And make sure you're blending the shades into one another. Don't want any gaps in the colors or anything like that. There we go. You can kind of see how that's looking so far. I'm going to reach back for my Laurice brush and just blend this line out together a little bit. Do a little bit more of Steven on this inner part of the brow line. And like I said, just blend these together a little bit more. It looks like there's a line there, but there really isn't that I can see in the mirror. I think it has more to do with the way the light's reflecting off of it. And again, same thing over here. A little bit more of Steven onto the inner corner of that, and then just blend these shades all into one another. And like I said, I apologize for the less than ideal lighting today. It's just, I have a bit of a headache, and I'm trying to do everything I can to reduce light exposure because of that. Okay. Next, we are going to go with the Tetris brush into the shade Elton. And with Elton, we're going to go just into this outer corner here. Just the very outer corner. It's kind of a very reddish orange shade that blends really, really well into Bowie. They're almost the same shade. Repeat that on the other side. Like I said, just the outer corner with this one. And we'll clean that up in a minute when we're done getting the eye look fixed exactly how we want it. Okay. And I'm going to kind of dust this off with a piece of foam that I've stuffed down into a bowl. It works really, really well, believe it or not, as a color switch. It's just a little piece of foam, shipping foam that you find in a lot of subscription boxes. And kids are being loud. Joys of summertime. Set that off to the side. Next, we're going to go into the YC collection here. And like I said, we're going to go into the shade Earth, which is this really pretty orange color. And we're going to bring that about halfway across the lid. We don't want to bring it all the way across, but about halfway. There we go. Okay. And again, repeat that on the other side, about halfway across the lid. And you'll notice I'm doing this with my eye partially open. That way I can kind of better gauge where the color is actually landing. And it's giving somewhat of an impression of a cut crease without actually being a cut crease. Yeah, I do not love that concealer on me. It seems to be oxidizing. That does not fall out from what I can see in the mirror. That is just the concealer oxidizing on my skin. So, I'm not loving that a whole lot. Okay. Now then, we're going to take the one brush that is not from the Ipsy brushes, and we're going to go into the shade, yeah, let's go ahead and go into Kelly. And we're going to bring that just on the inner half of that lid to where we bring it in to meet the shade Earth from the YC collection. Not like this brush, because being angled, I can get it into that inner corner and just pat that color in easier than what I could with a more rounded brush. And same thing over on the other side. That over. There we go. And just tap that color on. And make sure you bring them together to meet in the middle. And those are almost the same shade as well. Grab my mirror and kind of turn towards my window. Apparently we had a cloud decide to go over the sun. Adding just a little bit more, like I said, of the shade Kelly onto that inner corner. I think I'm going to go back into the shade Earth real quick and darken that up a little bit, hopefully. Oh, I grabbed the wrong brush for that. Tetris brush. And again, I'm going to turn my mirror towards the window. Sorry, not trying to blind y'all. Turn my mirror towards the window just so that I can see a little bit better. Natural light from the window is not near as bad as the light from the ring light would have been, though. Okay. Well, they're not quite the same shade like I thought they were. Okay. There we go. And I'm not going to try to make y'all dizzy, but I am going to turn the camera with me so that you can see kind of how it looks in the natural light coming from the window a little better. I do need to blend that outer corner a little bit more. But there you go. There's the basic gist of the look. Let's bring y'all right back down. Get the camera adjusted how I like it. There we go. And now with the same angled brush, going to clean that just a little bit off. And I think I'm going to go into the shade Sun, which is this yellowy shade here. Yes, I know, that's very reflective. Yes, I've got a bunch of stuff sitting on my table. Coffee cup, my Laura Mercier setting powder, which is being used to hold my camera in place. My pop socket broke a couple of months ago, and I've not been able to replace it. And with the shade Sun, I'm just going to go underneath the lash line a little bit. I really like the formula of these. They go on really smoothly, and there's not actually any yellow whatsoever or gold whatsoever in the Lesbian Pride flag. I just like it for the pop of brightness that it offers. And the way that it allows me to kind of brighten back up where that concealer oxidized. And I'm bringing that out along the line that I created with the eyeshadow itself. just to kind of give me an idea of to where I want to cut that off at. Now then, reach back over here for my brush bowl. And then I'm going to grab this brush, which is, again, I don't have a name for it, but it's the brush I tend to use when I am cleaning up looks. And just grab a little bit of foundation from inside the lid, believe it or not, where it has ended up smeared. And just kind of tap that onto the back of my hand so that I can get it on the actual tip of the brush. And cut out the shape that I want this eye to have. Okay, that's not quite working how I wanted it to. So, get this way with it. There we go. Like I said, I'm just creating the line I want to have for the eye look. Kind of cutting everything off, including at the top edge, just so that it sits exactly where I want it and is nice and sharp. Okay, there we go. That is the finished eye look, or mostly finished eye look. Reach into my other products here and grab out my Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara. Toss a couple of coats of that on real quick. Just on the top lashes. I don't want to distract from this eye look. I'm not going to be using any falsies. I'm not that great at them, so I try to avoid them for the most part. Okay, there you go. And just for the sake of keeping this look really bright, I'm going to go back into the shade Sun with the SL Miss Glam brush that I got today. Just gently tap into that, and that's what I'm going to use as my highlighter. If it can be used on the eyes, it's safe to use on the cheeks. If you've got a shade that you absolutely love an eyeshadow, but you don't think it works on your eyes, try it on your cheeks. Whether it be as a highlighter, a bronzer, blush. Powdered products made for the eyes are definitely going to be safe to use on your cheeks. I really like that. It gives this nice golden highlight. And what I just did is actually a no-no. Don't ever blow on your makeup. Just a little bit on the very tip of it and go down the very center of the nose, just barely touching the skin, and where the product lands is where it lands. Go in with my fingertip and gently dab that right above the Cupid's bow, or where the Cupid's bow should be. As you can see, I don't really have much of a natural one, but adding just a little bit of highlight into that spot right there brings it out a little bit. Okay, and the very last step is going to be the Lottie London Slay All Day in the shade So Good. And of course I trace the outline of the shape I want on my upper lip, and then just kind of bring that color down to the center. Press the lips together and then fill in the gaps. And of course, with a liquid lip, you want a nice, thin, even coat so that it will dry down evenly. Where I swatched it a while ago has pretty much dried down. It dries down quite nicely from what I can tell. Relatively quickly. It doesn't feel like it's sucking every ounce of moisture out of my lips either, so that's good. And there you go. There is the finished look. I'm going to bring y'all around to where you can see it in the natural light again. So here we go. Please just ignore everything you potentially see in the background. My room is full of a bunch of stuff. But there is the finished look. You can see where that highlighter hits. You can see the shape that I created with my eyes. And yeah, there we go. That is everything I have for y'all today, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!